Hello, and welcome to NCV Weekly Update. I'm your co-host, Jonah Pepiat.
And I'm your other co-host, Noah Kaplan.
And basically, we're going to broadcast to you each week to let you know exactly what's going on with NCV and how you might be able to help. So to start things off, Noah's going to tell us a little bit more about that great board meeting we had on Wednesday night. Noah?
Sure, Jonah. The following are the next steps after the board meeting, which we just had last Wednesday. Jeff Roberts will take on the fundraising chair, and Jonah and I will meet with him next week to come up with a fundraising plan. Jeff will also get in touch with everyone after that meeting. We just created a recruitment document for the board. We've shared it with everyone. The idea behind that is that you will get 2 to 3 or more contacts who you think are good board recruits. And we hope that you finish that, edit and save the document, add your recruits by the end of the month. Also, Jonah and I are going to be meeting with Nancy Glass to develop a press package. By next meeting, we are thinking of electing a chair for the board. If you think you would be a good chair, please start thinking about it now. Think about perhaps taking on that kind of responsibility. We think that everyone on the board would be a potential candidate for it. So think about it then, and you might be nominating yourself come the next meeting. Jonah recently also sent out an NCV guide that everyone should look at and read through if you haven't already. I'll give to Jonah now to start us off with updates on internships.
Yeah. So the first internship we're going to talk about today is our grant writing internship. Actually, that guide that you guys have in your inboxes was created by one of our grant writing interns. Now, it needs to be refined. It's still a first draft, but it's ultimately going to serve as the base of knowledge for writing grants, and it's also going to be a primer for anybody new to NCV. So we want everybody to read that so all of you can be on the same page and have the same knowledge base. Now also, over the past 3 weeks, these interns have done a great deal of work and learning about the grant writing process. That includes they went to the Foundation Center, they had trainings with people like Herb Kaplan, who's a professional fundraiser, and what they're trying to do is learn to search for grants, build relationships with the people at the foundations, and then ultimately actually write the grants and submit them. By the end of next week, they're going to have a list of 10 to 20 foundations, and they're going to start reaching out to them to figure out if they might be interested in supporting us. As far as the other interns go, Noah, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with data gathering?
Sure. As of this past week, beginning of the week, we had all of the database entries completed. That does not necessarily mean, though, that they have all of the information. At least about 50 or 60 health clinics we have still need to find extra information for. This last week was all about that, trying to edit those clinic entries. Calling the actual clinics, we have 3 interns, 2 of which are calling clinics. Also, we developed a process for editing this week. Next week and the week after, we are going to begin to have Nikhil Gopal, our on-the-ground intern in New Orleans, actually go to some of the health clinics we actually weren't able to find information for over the phone. And our top priority going forward is to define an actual website designer for the database. We have a website designer designing a website for NCV, but this goes beyond that. The database, as it is right now, is just a MySQL database. It's not. The public cannot search it. So what we have to do is have a website designer create a website that will allow the public at large to search the database and also find and view the results. Jonah, why don't you talk about community outreach?
Yeah. That searchable database is also actually going to be very important in marketing what we're doing to community leaders, and that's what Nikhil is going to be focusing on in the coming weeks. To start things off, Nikhil developed a list of community leaders and organizations so that we could build relationships with them and have a strong base for our work on the ground there. He also spent some time identifying key communities that have high proportions of low-income or underinsured residents, and we want to focus our efforts in those communities and get their feedback when we do focus groups in August, as well as that of clinicians, because we really want to have this be a sort of user-generated database, not necessarily the content in terms of we'll do the research and we'll find all these places, but we want them to say, all right, this is what we need, and this is how you can help, and then we're going to create this database around what they want, as well as just our general framework that we created. But the sort of the blip in those plans came when Nikhil met recently with both Wes, the board member, and also Richard Brucker, who founded NOLAFreeHealthcare.com. And what we discovered from those meetings was we need more of a marketable package to actually bring to these meetings. We can't just show up and say, hey, we got this great database. People won't take us seriously, or not as seriously as if we have marketing materials. So what Nikhil's doing right now is he's developing some materials, some stuff he can physically hand to them, some prototype mock-up pages that he can print out that show what the database is going to look like and the website is going to look like. But of course, the further along we get with the database, the easier that will be to have something concrete. But he's hoping to have a basic package ready to go by the end of next week so we can start reaching out and meeting with community leaders and getting our campaign kicked off so that we have plenty of interest and focus when we have those that testing of the database in August. Noah, in terms of other interns, what's left on the agenda?
Sure, fundraising. We have a fundraising intern right now who is taking care of our donor network development, as well as fundraising events in the future, and the creation and drafting of appeals letters to small-scale donors. So let me talk about that for a second. He is creating a donor list and also a potential donor list with columns for donor contact information, the date of their last gift, the amount of the last gift, the source of donation, where the gift was earmarked, for instance, to New Orleans, healthcare, leadership development, etc. We're also creating an NCV member and alumni list document on Google so that he can help us follow with NCV member fundraising at both chapters, Brandeis and Tufts. Also, he's in the process of creating a store campaign for grocery stores and restaurants, as well as a flyer campaign for newspapers, all within his community. Also, he's going to be making an announcement at his synagogue tomorrow, similar to what Jonah and I have done for the past 2 years at our synagogue in New York City. Lastly, he will focus on writing a small, personalized appeal letter to smaller donors. These are, they're individual letters to smaller donors, while Jonah and I are going to continue to produce quarterly newsletters. Jonah, why don't you talk about the practicum in New Orleans?
Yeah, so thanks to the hard work of board member TJ Stranova, we were able to get a great practicum student from the Tulane School of Public Health. What she's going to be basically doing for us is conducting research, traditional classic research that will ultimately result in a research paper that hopefully will be published and will give scholarly backing to the work that we're doing. What she's going to do specifically is start off by looking at the knowledge base that exists around healthcare issues in New Orleans and healthcare issues in the low-income communities in New Orleans. And once we've established what we know, Tiffany Boulia is her name, by the way, is going to take that information and say, all right, here's what we don't know. And then we're going to craft a piece of research. It's going to be methodological, it's going to be focused, and that research, what ultimately comes out of that, will add to the knowledge base that exists and really bring something new to the table. And we're going to incorporate that research into the database. The database will address at least some of the concerns that are brought up with that research. So we're really excited to have her on board. We think that the outcome of this is going to be great. It's going to be great for Tulane, it's going to be great for Tiffany, and it's going to be great for NCV, and then it's going to give us added legitimacy, some scholarly backing, some additional visibility, and we're really excited about it and looking forward to it. She started work on this this past Wednesday, so things seem to be going great so far. And now, Noah, why don't you wrap things up with a little bit of background on what's going on with our website?
Sure. Well, if you may or may not know, but we hired a website designer to create a new version of our website last spring. We paid him a small stipend to do that, to send us about 3 drafts before we actually came up with a completed version that we were happy with. We have received the first of 3 drafts, and we weren't so pleased with the first draft, to be honest. So we plan to edit it, the first draft, using successful characteristics of other websites in order to fulfill our main goals. The goals we had from the outset, which were having the website appeal to donors, students, and the rest of the population at large. So, Jonah, I think that's about it for our website update. Do you have any further comments?
Just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in to this first of hopefully many, well, should be 52 in the next year, theoretically, weekly NCV updates to let everybody know what's going on. Noah, any last words?
Well, I just want to say one thing, and I hope you will come on this with me as well. But I just wanted to say, and I don't know if I can hold this up to the screen, but it says, "Go NCV!" Woo!
Go NCV!
All right.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right. For Noah Kaplan, I'm Jonah Pepiat from our satellite studio in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and our other satellite studio in New York City, saying good night and have a nice evening.
You stay classy, San Diego.